What's going on, everybody? I'm going to be making a tutorial today of Zoom. So, currently, right now, April 2020, um, everybody's still in self isolation during the COVID 19 crisis. Zoom has become part of our daily life and our routine. Some of you have been struggling with how you're able to basically create a meeting for Zoom, how you're able to attend a Zoom. So we're gonna get right in that today and show you how to do that. So if you haven't already, you'll have to create a Zoom account. That's pretty self-explanatory. All you should have to do is create an account, and you can then sign up using your Google account if you have one. That's probably the easiest way. I think they have a couple other options through things like social media and Facebook, but Google seems to be probably the best route here. So once you've created your profile, um, which I'll be deleting all of this after this tutorial, it'll look something like this. You can then change your profile pic. Just upload something from your computer, wherever it is, upload it, resize it, and save it. I've already got my logo here, as you can see. All of this, all of this will just be gone. I won't have this account anymore after I make this tutorial. But anyway, let's go to meetings. So in order to create and schedule a new meeting, invite participants to your meeting, just go ahead and scroll to your left down to meetings, click on meetings. Once you've done that, go ahead and click on this blue button here that says schedule a new meeting. Alright, so we can put our information in about our meeting and what the meeting is going to be about, what time. I'm just going to leave the topic as my meeting, or we can change it and put Zoom tutorial. Yeah. The description, self-explanatory. It's a tutorial on how to set up a Zoom meeting. There we go. So once we've got the topic and the description put in, we can move on to the next step. The reason why I'm making this tutorial, side note, is because I've actually seen some of the tutorials that Zoom offers actual walkthroughs. Problem is they're not. My personal opinion, they could be better. So anyway, let's get back to it. So for our win, I'm gonna leave this date here. Today, the day of recording. It is almost 11, half hour till, and I'll leave the duration for 1. Just a heads up: if you have 3 or more participants in your Zoom meeting, you will be limited to 40-minute time limit. If you have a basic plan, the basic plan is free. There's no requirements or payment. There's no credit card. There's no nothing you have to put on file. You have the option to upgrade and do more things if you do want to pay, but I think most people at this point are just trying to do what they need to do. So we're going to leave it at that. We're going to leave it at basic. My time zone, this is my time zone currently right now. If you decide to have this meeting or hold this meeting more than one time and you don't want to create a single meeting every single time you do this, click reoccurring meeting. That's going to pop up with another new set of cool boxes you can click. There's a reoccurrence. Let's do weekly. Once a week is fine. Let's unclick Thursday and let's click Wednesday. Make sure you unclick what's ever clicked. Otherwise, it'll throw that in there to be scheduled. So just make sure to unclick whatever's clicked and just click the day that you would like it to occur. The end date, we'll just set that as the end date. You can choose a different end date by just clicking on this calendar, and then you can select another date. So you can require a meeting password. So this is where you would type in a password for those who join if you require a password. I'm going to just keep it simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's just so random people just can't join. Guess if you give them the ability, they can invite other people, but I'll show you that later, how that works. Let's move down to video. Let's go ahead and turn on video for the host on, video for the participant on. If they don't have like some sort of camera, that's fine. They'll just have their profile pic. You'll still be able to hear their audio, so that's fine. Moving to audio, speaking of, no pun intended, go ahead and make sure that both is selected. It'll have your computer audio. The computer audio, like you hear currently now, what I'm recording with, I'm using a external microphone hooked up to my desktop computer. But some people use the app on their telephone, so you want them to make sure that their audio is picked up on their phone as well. So down to the last few options. If you want to do meeting options, I would recommend enable join before host, and that is because if your participants are there 5 minutes early, they like to be there and make sure they're all set up in the right place. They'll be prompted with a screen that says, if you are the host, please sign in to begin the meeting, but they'll just sit there with that until you jump on. So if you enable join before host, they'll be able to just join the video session and just have a peace of mind that everything's working on their end. Also, make sure that you enable waiting room. That allows them to jump in and just sort of wait until the host arrives. Unless you prefer that nobody joins before the host arrives, maybe you do have 3 people and you want that 40-minute session, then that's fine. You can get rid of enable join before host or enable waiting room. But from my experiences, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, it's fine. And I think if people were able to join, they have, like I said, peace of mind. You can also record the meeting automatically from your computer if you're using a computer. So if somebody doesn't make the meeting, you can record it and you can post it to them. Most people tend not to. Just for a lot of people like to keep their meetings, private. A lot of information passed back and forth. If you weren't at the meeting, they just kind of speed you up through phone anyway, or text message, or some sort of email. So go ahead and once you have all that filled in, go ahead and save. What's great about this is if you use Gmail, you have access to Google Drive. That's all free storage, free calendar. It also gives you the option for Outlook Calendar and Yahoo Calendar. I'm going to be showing you today how to use Google Calendar because for the University of Northern Iowa, our accounts are through Gmail and Google Calendar, and they tend to use Google Calendar mostly. I prefer Google and Gmail to anything else anyway. So let's go ahead. Go to Google Calendar. You're going to go ahead and sign in with the account that you're using. Just allow them. It just says that they're going to be able to post things to your calendar. You're basically allowing the app to post to your calendar, but the things that you click is literally by you anyway, so it's not really doing anything by itself without you clicking. Once you've signed in, go ahead and remove invite others for your guest options. What this means is that your guests, this is their guest permissions. Basically, this is what the guests can and cannot do. So you remove modify event, remove invite others. Basically, it's just easier if one person is in control of doing things rather than a bunch of people trying to click things if they're not exactly sure what's going on or how to do things. You might get things messed up pretty quick. You can allow them to see the guest list, like who's all supposed to be there. Or you can just get rid of that total. But they can contact each other and let each other know if they're not going to show up, if they're on the guest list and things like that. Ask where they are. Are you aware about the Zoom meeting? That sort of thing. So that's fine if you just leave that checked here. Next thing I want to go to is top left-hand corner. You're going to see weekly on Wednesday until May. You want to make sure that what this says here lines up with what you've already set the meeting to be described as. You can change it here, but for the most part, it should say all the same thing of what you've already typed in. This is just what's going to be put onto your Google Calendar, so just make sure that's all good. This will be the link to this particular Zoom meeting. Like I said, I'm going to be deleting this later, so this will be non-existent. The ID you don't need to necessarily know. Password might be a good thing. For those who are attending. So make sure that those who are attending have this password or the password that you create. Or you could just leave out a password and not have a password. So once you have all this, this is going to plug into your Google Calendar. Just go ahead and save. It'll pop up with this box saying edit recurrent event. Just put this event and you're good. As you can see on my Google Calendar, it's put the event every Wednesday, recurring once at 11 a.m. until May 28th. And since May 28th is on a Thursday, it stops at May 27th. So this is what your participants are going to see on their Google Calendar. If they have Google Calendar, if they're using Calendar or similar, they're going to get an email notification. So if we go, if we click back out of this and we go to Google Calendar, you should be able to add guests here. So make sure invite others is off. Add guests. You should be able to add guests here. Just type their name in. This is my other account. So basically what will happen is once I save this, which I'm not, it'll basically send an invite out to the people that you put into your guest list. They'll be able to get an email notification. They'll have the link provided. And they'll also be able to go to their Google Calendar. So what they'll see, what they'll see if they go to their Google Calendar, and if you want to see how to get to your Google Calendar, check out my previous video. I'll link it down in the description below. That just kind of covers Google Drive, and it also covers Gmail, but basically you could also go to Calendar. So we have Drive, Gmail, Calendar. So what they're going to see is something similar to this. Now, obviously, I have two here because I did it twice. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this and following events. So basically, they're just going to see, you know, if you do it once, they're gonna see it. It's going to be set up for them. This is what they're going to be able to see. They're going to be able to click on this or the link in their email. Once they click on that, it'll have, hey, this is the information for it. To be able to click the link to join the Zoom meeting, so you can join that. It'll prompt them. This is what they'll see, and I believe this is what you will see. Either way, you should be able to open Zoom. So it'll launch. Just wait for it to launch. It's updating. There was a new update today, so bear with me. So I'm going to join with my computer audio. That's the microphone that I'm using. I don't have a camera, so it's just going to show my profile pic. One thing you can do as the meeting holder is record, send reactions, and what is very helpful is chat. So if somebody has kids in the background and very loud and they prefer not to use their audio, they can just type here in the bottom right hand corner. They can still hear you even if they don't have their camera. As long as you have your audio enabled, if they disable their audio and their camera, they'll still be able to hear you and everybody else in the chat. That should be fine. So as you can see, it says from me to everybody. If I just wanted to send it to a specific person, there'd be more down here if I had more people in the meeting, and you could just type an individual message to that person if there are more people in this meeting. So you could also manage your participants. I have the permissions to invite other guests. However, if you made it so where your participants can't invite other guests, they wouldn't have any of these options available. Only the person who's running the meeting has all these options that pop up down here. As you can see, the only person I have in the video right now is me. I can mute myself or mute other people if there are other people in this meeting. I can go to more, and I can rename. I can give whoever's in the meeting a nickname. So we'll just give myself a nickname. There we go. And we can tell it to remember my name for the future meetings. So, cool dude, host. Awesome. You can also see the group chat. That's awesome. So, that's how you set up a meeting that is reoccurring. That is also how the link is distributed. It's sent to their email once you've created it. It's also sent to their calendars as well. Down here is security. You can lock the meeting. You can click to enable waiting room. There'll be a waiting room if you're not there. Chat, rename themselves, allow participants to, they can rename themselves. You can remove that. You can remove the chat if you don't want anybody using the chat, but I recommend that everybody be able to use the chat. If you don't want them to rename themselves, if you want to know who they are, don't allow participants to do that, but you'll still be able to rename whoever. So if they have some sort of email that you're not familiar with who it actually is, just rename them whoever who they are. So with that said, if you decide to end the meeting, you can go down to end meeting. It'll prompt you with a sort of option. You can either leave the meeting, which the meeting will still be held and other people will still be able to chat to each other, or you can just adjourn the meeting and just completely end the meeting for everybody. So we'll go ahead and do that. So you can click out of that once the meeting's done. We'll click out of Google Calendars, and we'll go back to My Meetings, and we'll see in My Meetings it shows you all the meetings that you have. Now let's say it's the next week. So you're in your meetings, and you have, let's say that it's April 29th. You would be able to start it once that day comes. So let's say April 22nd, we can then start. You just click on it, same thing as before, open Zoom, and then you'd be able to, join with computer audio. Same thing, let's end meeting for all. That's it. So that's the simple tutorial on basically how to set up a meeting for Zoom, how to join a meeting. Yeah, that's about all there is to it. Anything else is really just fluff. Anything else is just extra. Yeah, if you would like to know how to put PowerPoint into Zoom, I can look that up and I can try to figure out what that is. Some of y'all have been asking for PowerPoint showing that into a Zoom meeting. I personally haven't seen it, but I can definitely look into it, and I can make another tutorial meeting. But yeah, for right now, at least you have the gist and basics how to join and start a meeting. So thanks everybody. Appreciate you guys' support. Appreciate you guys' views. Leave a comment down in the section below. If you have any questions, any other ideas for what kind of tutorials I should do. Otherwise, you guys have a great day, and we will see you guys later. Bye.